You can edit what?
The video. I can cut out all this shit.
Oh, okay.
I cut all this. Hell yeah, brother! Alright.
I think it's more like, hell yeah, brother!
Hell yeah, brother!
No, it's brother.
Brother!
Brother is...
Brother! Hell yeah, brother!
There we go.
Brother! So, welcome back. This is episode 1 of the Moto 80 212 Predator swap video series. And one of the first steps you want to do is you want to disassemble your Moto 80. So what I'm going to do right now is just step you through the disassembly process that we do when we do these swap outs. Just a quick overview. We're going to take off the plastics that are in the way. So we're gonna take off the chain guard, we're gonna take off this fender, okay? Then we're gonna remove the linkage and wiring to the motor. You got cutoff switches here, ground. On this side over here, you've got the throttle assembly and the brake. I don't think we need to take off the brake linkage. But we do need to disconnect the throttle assembly. Now, if you were going to disassemble this bike to prep it for paint, then you're going to want to take off, you know, the throttle, the cutoff switch, the handbrake. Just take off the brake assembly linkage down here. Take your brake off. Then you can, and all the rest of the plastics, the front fender and the side plates and the front plate there, to get it prepped for paint. But we're not going to go that far in this episode. We're just going to show you how we install the Predator 212. All right, so let's get started.
What's your first step on disassembly here? First
step I'm going to do, first step I like to do is to take the chain guard plastics off. So you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver to do that. And it's just a couple of screws here. And you're not going to need these screws because you're not going to put this chain guard back on.
That chain guard does not fit the 212, and it does not fit the Harbor Freight 79cc either. It's specific to that brand of engine that's on there.
Yep. So you can go ahead, you know, throw these in your bolt bucket, throw it in your shop stool, whatever that takes.
There's 3 of those screws on the chain guard, one up top.
One on the bottom was missing.
And one in the back. Those are Phillips head.
Yeah, we took those off. Then there's some 10mm bolts that hold it around the side of the engine. I'll go ahead and get the rattle gun and the 10mm set up.
Remember, it's perfectly acceptable to use the rattle gun for disassembly. Don't use the rattle gun for reassembly if you're not sure what you're doing.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty.
How many bolts are there?
There's usually 3, but there's only 2 in this one. Again, you're not going to need those, but go ahead and throw them in your bolt bucket. Oh, I lied. There's another one on there. There was indeed 3. All right, so that's off. Wow. Got some kind of rope or string in there.
Seeing what might have been the problem. Somebody returned this to the store, and there's some debris caught up in the interface between the clutch and the crankshaft.
Yep. All right. And so it makes it a whole lot easier to get this back piece out if you go ahead and take the rear fender off. So I'm going to do that right now. Otherwise you're fighting it against the frame.
Rear fender's held on by 3 Phillips head screws, 1 on each side, and 1 down there in the front.
Yeah. And now you're going to want to hang on to these screws, especially if you want to put your fender back on. Okay. Now I need to get that one.
Slide it back a little.
Yep.
I got it.
Okay.
One of the tips that we share with people is to take the screw out from the bottom. You see that there's a screw in the front of the fender there. Take the screw out from the bottom, because once you put the 212 engine in and you want to put your fender back on, the bottom of the bike is easily accessible. The front of the fender is not.
Also, we slide this back. There we go. There we go.
Steady?
It's steady.
All right.
I'm going to take this out. Somebody rode this one hard. It's nice and dirty and oily. Also, when you're taking these Phillips head screws out, some people want to throw a bit into a drill gun, but prefer hand screwdriver, so you don't strip out the heads, because they're, after all, they are Chinese and they will strip out fairly easy. So that makes that a whole lot easier, pulling that out like that. And again, take those two pieces, throw them away.
Don't need them.
Don't need them. Okay. Next step would be to remove the chain. So what we're going to look for is these chains have master links in them. So you'll want to rotate the chain until you find the master link. It's on here somewhere.
There it is.
There it is right there. Can you see that?
Let's see if I can get the camera to focus. There's a real easy way to remove these master links. You do it with a pair of needle nose. You'll see a lot of guys who will take a flathead screwdriver and start prying on it and bend it and twist it, and it's too much effort. And just like that, it comes off.
Just like that. This one's a little oily. Just like that. The master link comes off.
And it's flat, it's not bent, it's not torn up.
Nope.
Now, the reason that you rotate the master link until it's back on this sprocket is because if there's tension on the chain, and this chain is actually pretty slack, but if there's tension on the chain and you pull the master link out, you can bend the master link. So go ahead and get into a habit of rotating it so that the master link is on the sprocket is holding the tension of the chain, and then you can remove it without worrying about it.
But again, you're not going to reuse this chain.
It is a good habit.
It's a good habit. All right, see how easy that was to remove the chain? Chain is removed. All right, so we got the plastics off, we got the chain guard, the chain, the rear fender off. Now we want to take the disconnect the wiring, the cutoff switch, and the throttle linkage from the 80 cc motor, because we're going to reuse those on the Predator 212. All right. So your cutoff switch right here is wired down to the front of the motor right here. So you just want to separate that butt splice, and then it's grounded down here to the case bolt.
Can you cut that zip tie so we can kind of see where it's grounded?
Sure. All right, can you see where it's grounded?
Yeah, we can see it now. Right at the bottom of the...
Right there.
Okay.
That's an 8mm. Just like that, folks. So now your cutoff switch is disconnected. And next we'll disconnect the throttle linkage and Phillips head screwdriver and a 10mm wrench. Just kind of want to hold that as a backup.
Hang on one second. Are the lights really bad? Let's see. Can you guys see that? There you go. So Wes is getting ready to disconnect that. He and I are going to trade sides so that you guys can see a little better what he's up to here.
I'm trying to get the screwdriver in there. I may need to get a stubby. So see, when you turn the screwdriver, it turns that little nut thingy. There you go.
All right. Sometimes you'll find that the throttle cable has a little aluminum ferrule on the end of it. You can just use some needle nose pliers to crush that back round, and then it'll slide right off the end.
This is an 8mm bolt down here holding the throttle cable in place. You can also use a Phillips head screwdriver, but in this instance, the back tire is limiting my access to the top of that bolt, so a wrench was easier. All right, so everything's disconnected from the motor. Now we can just unmount the motor from the motor mounting plate at the bottom, and then remove the motor from the frame.
All right. Take a look at what we just did. The engine's held on in the rear by 2 bolts that go through the engine mounting feet and through the metal plate on the bottom. So it's a 10mm and a 13mm that you need to take those apart. And then there's 2 also in the front. The front bolts typically have the 10mm on top and the 13mm nut on bottom. The rear bolts typically have the 13mm nut on top and the 10mm bolt on bottom.
Okay, now the motor's free. We can just grab it and pull it out. That's what she said. Just like that. So now we need to do a little cleanup on this bike, but it's ready to start prepping for the Predator 212.
Hey Wes, what's this bolt up here at the front?
So this is a tensioner. It's not needed on the Predator 212 swap, so we're just gonna go ahead and remove that, make the bike more visibly appealing. All right, so Forrest, what's going to happen when you try to undo this, there's a nylon nut, lock nut on here, and it's going to just spin. So if you can, I don't know if you can look down underneath or...
Yeah, we can see that. Go ahead and spin. Yeah.
There you go. There's a little thing there. You can put a screwdriver through that, like that. It'll keep that from spinning. And then you can put a ratchet or a wrench on it, or a rattle gun, or by hand. There we go. And that just backs out through the hole. And there you have it.
Awesome.
Removed. You don't really need this. You don't need this to go back on the Predator 212.
Ready, steady, action.
All right, so we just cleaned up the mounting plate a little bit, cleaned up the grease and the dirt from the frame. Actually cut a couple of tie wraps to free up the cutoff switch cable and the throttle cable, because we're gonna have to reroute this throttle cable across the top for the Predator 212. But that about sums up the disassembly process for the Monster Moto 80, and it is ready to take on the Predator 212. The next step we're going to have to do is install the Stage 1 performance kit from Go Power Sports.